everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Monday Mensaje, or Monday Message, our weekly energy forecast. And thanks for being here with me during the week of January 24th, 2022. Okay, without delay, let's get into it. The card for the week is Death. I know. You know what that means. Shedding and rebirth. I actually get really excited when I get the Death card because it's like that new opportunity for change. And while change can be so scary for so many of us out there, including myself, it's also an opportunity to start fresh. And I love that. I always love a good opportunity to start over, clean your slate, and move forward. So the first thing that I'm going to be talking about for this week's Death energy is shedding old skins. This means reevaluating everything in your life, seeing what's working, what am I happy with, what is serving me well, and also looking at what isn't serving me anymore. Maybe there are some things in your life, mindsets, habits, ways of thinking, and maybe talking to yourself and others that used to serve a purpose in your life that no longer serves one. So every so often it is a great idea to look inwards and do a little bit of reevaluating. Check in with yourself. Are there any habits, routines, ways of thinking, self-talk, internal beliefs about yourself or maybe others, things about your identity, your external appearance, like your clothes, your hair, the way that you dress, your style, also items in your house. Are there things that remind you of people you no longer want to be reminded of? Are there gifts from people that are no longer in your life? Or you know what, maybe your style has changed and you walk into a certain room and there are things that just make your heart sink because it doesn't capture the vibe that you're trying to go for, right? The things in our house really sort of reflect the energy that we're trying to like give off. So if there are things in your home that you're not happy with, this is a great time to purge. Get rid of it. If you haven't seen it and it's been sitting in the back of a closet for 2 years, you most likely don't need 98% of the stuff that's in there. Okay. Other like categories for reevaluation are work and relationships. Are you happy with your work right now? Are there other goals that you have that you haven't been working towards? What has been a priority for you career-wise? Are those priorities still aligned with who you are now? Think about that. Your relationships, romantic, family, platonic friendships, okay? All of that. Are there people in your life that really aren't up to the standard of those that you're sharing your energy with? I know that sounds harsh. I'm just saying that it's important to know whose energy is in your sphere. And if there are people around you that aren't compatible with where you are in your life right now, that could really be kind of messing with your head and holding you back. So another good place to reevaluate, are there any toxic friendships or toxic relationships or people that you still answer texts from that you shouldn't? Things like that. And also your home. Are you happy with your home? Are some of you looking to move? Are some of you looking for that fresh start I was talking about? So when we get this Death card energy, the levels to this rebirth are going to be different for everybody. So for some of you out there, it could be, I freaking hate all the clothes that I have. I'm going to donate them, keep what really, I could make work, and then start from there and buy things here and there that are going to make me feel happy, make me feel like I'm expressing myself in the way that I want to. Clothes are a little bit more important than I think we give credit for. I'm not talking about how much you spend on your clothes. I'm talking about putting on clothes that make you feel good, that make you feel like yourself. I know that in previous jobs that I've had before, I felt like I had to dress a certain way or have a certain style, or I was going to be judged by peers and things like that. But at the end of the day, those clothes did not make me feel like myself. I felt shitty and weird and sort of like another person. And honestly, it was just a mask I was wearing to survive in that environment. And so a perfect example of this shedding is, when I left that job, I also purged all of those, quote, work clothes with it. And I had no need for those clothes anymore. No need for that mask. No need for that version of myself. So I am directing you to maybe give some of these things a second look. So I mentioned earlier, habits and routines. Are there certain habits that you are ready to let go of in your life? Like I said, did they serve a purpose for you at one point? Distracting yourself at a time you needed it, or escaping when you really needed it. And maybe you're ready to be in the present a little bit more. Maybe you're ready to start a new chapter and you kind of want to get rid of some of those things. So another thing to look at, ways of thinking and self-talk. Is being hard on yourself serving you a purpose right now? Is that negative self-talk that you have grown to sort of like maybe make like a joking part of your personality? Do you need that anymore? Right? So many of us just kind of go with that wave of like self-deprecating jokes, and yeah, it can be funny at times, and yeah, it can be a way to feel like you're bonding with people on the surface, but does it serve you good anymore? No, it never has. So maybe time to get rid of that. Instead of telling yourself bad things about yourself or pointing out bad things before other people do, why don't you start pointing out some of the good things about yourself? Some of the things that you're proud of yourself for. Have you even told yourself that you're proud of yourself? I was talking with someone who shall remain unnamed, but long story short, they had realized in their over 30 years of living that they had never actually told themselves that they were proud of themselves. That hit me hard. So I know that person is comfortable with me sharing that information to help other people. So sit with that. Are there some positive things that you've been wanting to hear from others that you've never even told yourself? So this death energy, like I said, it is going to be scaled differently depending on who you are. Are you looking for those big changes, like a different job, a different style, a different career, a different social circle, new hobbies and interests that maybe you didn't think were a priority, and now you're realizing, you know what? I do want to spend time doing things just for me that make me happy. I'm going to reorganize what I feel like is a priority in my life. Maybe I want to make work a little bit less of a priority, and my free time and starting new hobbies and hanging out with friends and family more of a priority. Other things to look at. So really, this is going to be different depending on who's listening. But I hope some of those things I mentioned sort of, I guess, acted as a stepping stone for you to reevaluate in your own life what needs to go, what needs to stay. So while this death energy is about shedding, getting rid of the old, letting things collapse and walking away from it, it's also about rebirth. It's also about planting seeds. Where are you going to go from here? So after you do some of that work, that takes, and I really want to emphasize this, the work that you're going to be doing with this energy takes incredible honesty with yourself. A lot of times we feel like maybe we're not that honest with other people, and we downplay things and how things are affecting us or what we really want. But I'm telling you, most likely you've also done that with your own self. We're really good at convincing ourselves of things. We're good at convincing ourselves that we're fine, that we're not as affected by some things going on in our life, that we don't need more rest, things like that. So be honest with yourself. That is like the number one thing when working with this death and rebirth energy. Be honest with yourself. How are you really doing? How are you really doing? I say that and it sounds really simple, but so many of us, myself included, can end up going a long time asking everyone else how they are and helping everybody with their own issues. Not only does that distract you from your own problems, so that may be a little bit of like a wake up for someone listening, but While you're focused on everybody else, you're not focusing on you. So make sure you're being honest with yourself. How are things going? Are you happy with your life? What are you not happy with? Because while we are out of control of so many things, there are things that we are in control of. So those things in your life that you are in control of, make sure you're utilizing that power. If you do have control over certain things, make sure that you're paying attention to it, handling it, nurturing it. So that way you can, as much as you can, create the life for yourself that you really, really want. You have more power in your life than you think that you do. So, like I said, be honest with yourself. That's a huge one. And while we're being honest with ourselves, it's a good little reminder to be honest with other people in our lives. Like I was saying, how is your communication? Because when we're being honest with other people, and maybe, communication and actually talking about your feelings is hard for you, make sure that you're not just being brutally honest in the name of, well, I don't know how to talk about my feelings, right? There are ways to say things to people that aren't going to cut like a knife, but you can still be honest. So maybe before having some of these conversations that are going to help you move forward in a better way, right? Like let's say one of those things that you want to reevaluate and shed are some of those I guess not shed, but let's say mend are some of those relationships in your life. There are ways to have honest conversations with family and friends about, let's say, boundaries, right? Without being mean and hurting anybody's feelings, but also standing up for yourself. So if you have someone that calls you often for advice and you're kind of overwhelmed with your own life, you don't have to be like, listen, you're stressing me the fuck out and I need a minute for myself and, I can't always be there for you. I need to be there for me. That's like not really the right way to communicate those feelings. But if you're someone that struggles with communicating how you feel, you might wait to the last minute where things just come out that way. So why don't we take a minute, and when you're thinking about having those conversations with people, think about how you would want someone to tell you that information. If you were accidentally overstepping someone's boundaries, how would you want them to come to you where you get the message across, but also don't damage that relationship any further? You could instead talk about how things have been really stressful for you. They may not even know, if you're that friend that helps everybody else in their life, they may not even know that you're going through something because you probably don't share that with others because you're always taking care of everybody else. So you might want to say like, listen, my life's been a little bit overwhelming right now, and I've just been needing more time to be by myself and sort of like rest, recharge, and do some self-care. So like if there's something that you need my help with, like maybe it can wait till I reach out, or like we go hang out or have a phone call, something like that. So my point is that there are better ways to say things. So make sure when you're, putting up these boundaries and having these, what can be difficult conversations with others, that you're just not adding fuel to the fire. And another thing that came up with this death energy, like I said, shedding what needs to go and planting seeds, this rebirth. With this rebirth sort of comes like a reintroduction, not only to yourself, but to the world around you, to family, to friends, to, the people you see at the coffee shop you go to, right? So take this reintroduction seriously, especially with yourself, like who are you now? How have you changed in the last couple years? How have your interests changed? How have your thoughts about others and the world changed? Because that is going to be a huge internal shift that changes your identity from the inside out. This is like before we even get to clothes and hair and accessories and so on. Your view on the world is so important, and maybe your view on the world is shifting. Maybe there are some crumbs that are leading you to realize there's more to all of this than what meets the eye, than what's on the surface. Maybe you are dabbling in, being a little bit more interested in things that you used to believe were taboo or you used to believe was bullshit. And now you're saying to yourself, maybe it's not such bullshit, right? You are allowed to change your mind. You can change your mind at any time, no explanation necessary. You have new information. You are allowed to make new decisions and have new conversations based around this new you. So don't feel stuck like, oh God, I used to make fun of that thing and now I'm like feeling interested in it. That's going to seem so fake to other people, or I feel like I can't like that thing because I used to not. Let go of that. That is ego. Let it go. It doesn't matter. You can pivot whenever you feel like it. You can change whenever you feel like it. It doesn't have to be in January because it's a new year. It can be whenever you want. So be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. If there are some really heavy internal changes about what you believe in and how you see the world and your relationships with others, lean into it. Your intuition always knows best. That's what I have to say about that. And building on that, when you're having these reintroductions with people, right? I know it can be hard. I really went through this heavily in the last year. You meet people, you haven't seen them for a month or something like that, more than that, or family, especially with this, what we've been going through the last couple of years. Sometimes we go months without seeing people and then you see them again and it's weird because you're sort of a whole new you and you don't fall back into those little patterns that you might have had with those people. And so rather than wasting time explaining to them why you shifted and all that, spend time reintroducing them to who you are now. The why doesn't really matter so much, but the way to get out of that feeling that's uncomfortable, like when you go to see someone familiar or call someone familiar and it's weird, the way to get out of that is just to be like, yeah, I've been going through stuff. Like things are different. I'm different. I hope that's okay. I still care about you. And if things are a little different with me, just know that like I feel different. And so it takes a little bit of that guesswork out for both of you. So like I said, the why doesn't really matter so much, but just be confident in who you are now. And those people in your life that really love and care about you are going to be excited to learn about this new you and are not going to be the ones judging you. The ones judging you are the ones that maybe haven't changed as much as they would like. They're a little bit threatened by the work and effort and change itself. Like the fact that you were brave enough to lean into these changes is really going to be scary for people who don't feel like they are brave enough right now. It could be those people in your life that are closed-minded because they're set on what they're set on. And you know what? That is their path. You cannot save everybody. You cannot take everybody with you to this next stage. Everybody is on their own journey. And so while you can, share things about yourself and what you've learned, you have to also respect that the people that aren't going to be interested in also changing their lives in a way that's going to better themselves, you have to just like leave them where they're at. That is really hard. So that's why I specifically mention it. So like I said, less time explaining why and more time really just reintroducing you and who you are now to yourself and to other people. And one of the last things that I want to mention before we actually get into pulling some cards for the signs, we are going to pull some cards for the signs that are it's from a deck that's called Heal Your Damn Self. It's a great deck. I'm going to link it below if it's still available. And it sort of tells you things that you can do to, give yourself some self-care and heal. I thought that would be a great companion to this death and rebirth. That way, while you're going through this death and this rebirth, you can maybe see a couple things that you can do that's going to help facilitate this in a bit of an easier way. So before we do that, I do want to mention this last thing. This is a big one, okay? In reevaluating yourself, what's going on in your life, I want you to reevaluate your self-worth. Because I guarantee that some of you listening, and this is to me as well, okay? Like speaking to past me for many, many years, you might be stuck in old ways, old habits, routines, ways of thinking, internal beliefs, identity, all of those things. You might be stuck there and feeling like it's difficult to shed it and move on and get better because maybe you don't think you deserve better than what you have right now. I'm going to pause and let you think about that for a second. When's the last time you checked in on what you think that you deserve? Do you believe that you really deserve all of these new beautiful changes in your life that you want to commit to? Because I'm telling you, if you don't believe that you're worth it, it's going to be really hard to commit to these changes. Self-sabotage, talking yourself out of things, telling yourself your dreams are out of reach, all that has to do with your self-worth. And so I want you, during this rebirth process, during this shedding of all the old that you no longer need, shed that idea that you are not worthy of all of the beautiful things that you desire in your life. I'm telling you, you are. You are worthy of it right now. You owe it to yourself to commit to these changes, to commit to this work that you're doing on yourself, to commit to your self-care, because you really are worthy. Every single person out there is worthy of living a beautiful life that they're happy with. And I'm just going to leave that right there. So maybe you need to dig a little deeper and find some things that you love about yourself. Find the beauty in yourself right now before you go through these changes, because you are worthy already. Okay, so in that note, we're going to change gears, and I have already shuffled and I have these cards ready to see what the signs can do to help themselves heal during this incredible transformation that's going to be coming up. And I just want to say that while this is the message for the week ahead, you know, the energy from this extends well beyond this week. So these changes and transformations and reevaluations are not going to be done this week. This is just the beginning, but that is the exciting part. Okay. So feel free to jot down your sun, moon, and rising, because it applies to all. And let's get started with Aquarius, because it's your season. What can you do to heal? Okay, Aquarius, divine partnership. So this could be talking about, like I said, reevaluating some of those relationships in your life. This doesn't just mean romantic. This means looking into the relationships you have with your friends and family. This could even mean collaborating with someone on a creative or career project. Have you been someone that's someone who likes to work solo, and maybe you haven't been able to listen to the ideas that others have? Or maybe someone out there has a bit of wisdom for you. So keep your ears out. A lot of times our ancestors and spirit guides, the universe, they send us messages through the mouths of others, and they may end up saying something that they don't even realize resonates heavily with you. So keep your eyes open for opportunities for collaboration, opportunities to deepen your relationships with those around you, and to maybe hear a nugget of wisdom from someone unexpected. Okay, Pisces. Whatever that thing is, you may know what I'm talking about. We got a red light, which means no. So Pisces, I'm a Pisces moon, so I can tap into this energy. There's that thing you've been thinking about. Maybe, okay, it's Mercury retrograde, so it comes to me as like something or someone from the past. The answer is no. And I know that you know what I mean. And that can be kind of hard, but this energy is all about rebirth and moving forward. And when the universe says no, it's because it has much, much better in store, even if you can't see it yet. So I hope that helps you with whatever answer you were looking for. Aries, find your blessing. Have you been looking at all of the beautiful blessings around you? This may be a sign to do some gratitude work. Make a list of all of the things that you're grateful for. Or you can do like a little couple-minute journaling practice I love to do, where in the mornings, or you know what, whenever I'm feeling like it, sometimes it's before bed, I jot down a few things I'm grateful for about that day, about my life. And it really helps you see the true perspective of your life. A bad day in your mind can sometimes make you feel like you have a bad life, and it's not true. So find the blessings around you. What are you grateful for? Even if there are obstacles in your way and a lot of things that have been really hard, what are those things that are working out? I swear there are things to be grateful for. You may just have to zoom out of the photo of your life, give yourself some perspective. And I promise you, Gratitude work and being grateful for what you have, no matter how small, is the key to unlocking more blessings in your life. All right, Taurus, you are up. Express yourself. If you could see the photo, it's this illustration on this deck is adorable. So again, I'm going to link it below, but it's a person that is a little easel and painting supplies. So it's very cute. So Taurus, express yourself. Have you given yourself time to be creative in a way that is not for profit? Okay? Express yourself. Maybe do a different creative activity than what you do for work. That could help get your creative juices flowing. Or maybe just do something for you for fun. All right? So while this is like art and creativity, there are so many other ways to express yourself. So like I said earlier, go in your closet. Find a funky outfit that's really like making you feel the energy that you want to bring into this week. Maybe you want to do a crazy makeup look. Maybe you want to, like I said, take up a different hobby than normal. And maybe you want to try something new, and it's okay if you're not great at it. So just for fun, that is the key word. Do not turn this into work, okay? All right, Gemini. Let's see. Ooh, so interesting. Gemini, you got the green light. Yes. So if there's been something on your mind for those Geminis out there, again, these are for sun, moon, and rising. If there's something you've been pondering, wondering about, the answer is yes. Green light, go for it. Dig deeper and mull things over. If you are like, what is it that I've been, wondering? Take some time to remove distractions, maybe sit with some music and sort of see what comes to mind for you. This could also just be a sign that the blockages that have been around you are being removed and you're going to see some movement in whatever this thing is that you've been focusing on. Okay, Cancer, let's see what's up. Have faith, Cancer. That is your card. Have faith. No matter how difficult things might have been for you, they're going to get better. There is a lesson to be learned here. Dig deeper. Try to get out of that woe is me victim mindset that can really keep us stuck in those negative cycles. Instead, like I said earlier, zoom out of this picture of your life, see the big picture, and have faith. It's going to get better. Every single thing is temporary, especially these difficult situations and these heavy feelings you could be carrying. Ask yourself, what gives me faith? What difficult things have I gone through that I didn't think I was going to get through? Because you're here now and you did get through it. So do some self-care, nurture yourself. It's going to be fine. Leo, like attracts like. So Leo, if this has been you, two things come up for me immediately. First of all, if you're talking about flirtation, which, I mean, my goodness, Leos are like one of the king queens of that. Make sure that you are being the kind of person that you want to attract. So if you're talking about love interests, be that, energy that you want in your sphere. So you might have been saying, I'm not attracting the right person. So ask yourself, what kind of energy are you putting out there? Maybe it's less about them and more about you. Second thing that came to mind was this idea of if you're trying to bring things into your life, if you're trying to manifest things into your life, if you're trying to attract this positive energy, like I said, what kind of energy are you giving off? Because if you're trying to manifest your best life, but you're doubting yourself or you're not working in the physical plane to get toward these goals and to get these things that you want to bring into the physical realm, then you're not going to get it, Manifesting isn't just hoping. It is also working towards it. So a little reminder for you. Virgo. Love more, Virgo. Don't be so hard on yourself. There's a giant heart on here. I wish you could see it. Virgo, love more. I'm talking about you loving yourself. That's the first thing that came up. Love yourself, Virgo. You are so detail-oriented and you're so focused on everything going on around you. You may not have realized how well things really are going. Zoom out as well. Think about how you were months ago compared to now. I'm sure you're in a completely different place. be kind to yourself. Beating yourself up and being hard on yourself is not going to bring you high vibrational energy and the progress that you're looking for. So love yourself more, nurture yourself. What's one thing you can do for yourself this week to show gratitude to your own self and to someone close to you that's really been there for you by your side? So Virgo, love yourself more, but also check in and say, have I been loving those around me? How have I been showing them? Have you been showing them? Libra, meditate. So I always like to say that when we talk about meditation, I don't just mean sitting in silence. I mean putting on some instrumental music, wind chimes, sound bowls, something, right? That can allow you to clear your mind without just being bombarded by many thoughts by sitting in silence. So I don't want to turn anybody off who has had negative meditation experiences because of that. But maybe meditating for you is, clearing your mind with some music while you do a creative project, while you do a puzzle, while you, like I said, I love to throw some sound bowls on with at night with some cool, I have a projector that changes the lights on the wall. And so I'm in my little, space with my lights and my music, and that really just lets my mind be sort of a vessel for any messages that my guides and ancestors are trying to send me. And yeah, I find a lot of times coloring or doing something that's a little bit mindless, but getting you moving is a really good way to sort of open yourself up for those messages. So Libra, you could be either needing to receive some of these messages I'm talking about, or just making yourself get to a bit of a more chill place. Maybe you've been a little bit high strung lately and a little bit too focused on that one thing. Relax your mind, relax your body, and everything is going to fall into place. Scorpio, clear your energy. Okay, Scorpio, it's time for a cleanse. When's the last time you smudged your space? Maybe you want to make yourself a spiritual bath. Maybe you want to do a cleansing with some selenite. It's always a good one. So maybe look up some different ways to clear your energy, clear your space. If you don't already have a practice that you work with, and if you do have a practice, get to it. This could be signaling clearing your energy to make space for something, or maybe the energy around you has been a little bit dense and we want to lift that. Okay, Sagittarius, protect yourself. So sort of the same vein as Scorpio, Sagittarius, clear the energy around you and also protect yourself. What kind of spiritual or psychic protection do you have in place right now? This is especially true if you're someone who dabbles in the spiritual realm and you have a spiritual practice. This is a major sign to do some protective work. Do you have any protective rituals that you engage in? Do you have any protective amulets that you've prepared, right? So all things to look into. Protect yourself. Maybe this is also talking about what came to mind is Reiki. So if some of you were thinking about booking a session to kind of clear the energy around you, and or maybe you've been looking into getting some books and filling your mind with some knowledge about protective practices, this is a major green light on that. And then Capricorn, last but not least, raise your vibration, Capricorn. That means looking around you and saying, what are the things that make me feel like I'm in touch with my high vibrational energy? What are the things that make me feel good? What have I done on those days where I feel phenomenal? So I'm going to take this, my own advice. I'm a Capricorn sun. So I have been feeling like that. I need to raise my vibe. I've been calling it all this high vibrational energy, but you have to be a match energy-wise for that, you got to make sure your frequency is really attracting what you want. So I love that. Raise your vibration, Capricorn. So when you give us an assignment, we are all in. So I don't even have to tell you anything. I know you're going to look up all the ways or jot down in one of your many planners how to do that. Okay. Thank you, everyone. If you're still here, thank you for listening. I hope that giving you a little bit of help along with such a heavy message sort of makes this process less intimidating and more exciting. And I just want to remind you that I am on Instagram and TikTok, both at The Glam Spirit. We do a bit of magic stuff, glamour, tarot, and beyond on there. So if those are things you're into, you can find me there. And yeah, leave some comments below if anything I said resonated, or, you know, maybe some things that you're ready to shed and to call into your life during this year, things like that. And I really appreciate if you give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe so you're up to date for the energy for next week. Bye, everyone.